All right, fans. The postseason award show as voted on by you, the fans, on our Twitter page over Gotham Pod. If you're not over there, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Thanks to everyone who voted. There's so much to talk about. Let's just get started. So, fans, this has been a frustrating season for all of us, a very long, frustrating season. However, we are here to talk about the positives of the season. Let's have some fun. Let's just get into it. These polls are the voice of the fans, and we love to amplify your voices. So first, I want to start off with a poll I did not make. The thought of making a Keeper of the Year poll made me feel a bit uneasy. As I mentioned on the last podcast, I don't think there was a bad performance this season from either of them. They just got put in a terrible situation. I don't know how you possibly separate Betos and Harris this season. I'm just going to say we're lucky to have both of them. I look forward to them competing next season for the starting job. Any thoughts on this group of keepers, Ruby?
Yeah, it was definitely a tough season for all the players, including the keepers. And the keepers that we have are experienced keepers. They are elite goalkeepers. And again, I also think they did a great job. They did a good job, especially like in the circumstances that we were in. It's tough to be the last person there, guarding the goal and getting scored on. But even though everything that happened, I don't think how good they are reflects does not reflect what, their skill set out there. So yeah, like you said, I don't think it would be fair to do a keeper of the year poll. At this point, it probably would have been more like a popularity poll, but they did good. It's just tough again because they're both really good keepers. It's just such a bad season. I don't know.
Agreed. So let's just get over to the polls I did make. First
Let's
one
do it.
is Rookie of the Season. So Midseason award was won by Torres at 47%, and the second place person was Cameron Tucker at 26.9. This time, at the end of the season, Terran Torres again around 50%. This time, Jenna Bike is the second highest at 35.9, and Cameron Tucker jumps down to 10.9%. Your thoughts on this, Ruby?
Well, yeah, the fans chose Taryn Torres, and I think they're right. Yeah, she got to play more minutes than Jenna Bike and Cameron Tucker, but that's because she was performing. And, well, we don't know because I'm not at practices, but if you perform at practices, you get minutes. So I think Taryn Torres it's well deserved for her to get this award from the fans. Hopefully, we get to see more of Jenna Bike and Cameron Tucker because they have a lot of potential. They're all talented, and I just can't wait for next season. What about you?
Yeah, I think the word it's going to come up a lot in this award show is consistency. And in the season that we had, I think consistency is the key to winning a lot of these awards. And Torres was the most consistently used.
Mm-hmm.
Tucker's minutes fell off after Hugh jumped on. Bike came on strong, but I say a little bit too little, too late.
Mm-hmm.
Torres is definitely the winner here for me. So the question for all these polls, I decided to come up with a question that we can discuss. And so my discussion question for this first poll was, what do you think is the biggest area of need for this team if the draft is tomorrow?
I It's hard to say. It's hard to
Mhm.
say what's the biggest area they need to work on because I feel all areas need work. They need work to do. I want to say maybe the midfield because that was the issue last season as well as this season, but it's really hard because we didn't get that Gotham we got from last year. So it's kind of like we're not really building up from what we left off last year. We're kind of like building from, I don't want to say from zero, but it's just finding that good formation and chemistry in the field for all of them. But again, I'm going to say midfield. What about you?
Midfield, that's like we're going to have Ali Long back next season. So if everybody stays, that is Long, Zerboni, Pickett, Mewis
Yeah, that's
in the
true.
midfield. Wow, that is
Ugh.
how. I don't get it how we had a how our midfield was not in sync this season with all of those players,
Um,
but
may-
having that many
maybe
players
maybe
that
defender.
quality,
I don't know.
yeah. I mean, you can even add Ali Krieger in that mix, but wow,
Mm-hmm.
what a central midfield this team has. I don't know if there's a player that's going to come out of the rookie class that's going to even challenge any one of those for minutes. Me, maybe. My assumption is that we're going to lose one of our center backs, probably Johnson or Freeman, one of those two. I don't think all three are going to stay next season. Krieger is locked in till 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and a forward, honestly, let's say we lose Iffy. Taylor and Purse and Monahan are about as good as it gets. We got Tucker as a backup. It's really tough. This team is so
Yeah.
freaking talented, and it's got so much depth. It's really hard to pick. You know what? I'm going to say central defense. I'm assuming we're going to lose one of them. Forget who the top rated pick is so far. Oh, Emily Madrill. She's a center back. Let's go for her. Let's do it. All right. Let's move over to best defender since we were just talking about defense. Mid-season, Krieger won 71.6%, and it wasn't even close. I think Johnson had 15%. Didasco won this award last year, obviously. And now at the end of the season, Krieger expands her lead from 71 to 76. Dorsey, Johnson, around 10%. Krieger runs away with it. Is that your assessment, Ruby?
Yeah, of course. Krieger has the experience, and her experience plays a big part here. She is a veteran with national team experience. She's a World Cup winner. So Krieger really helped the team also by being flexible because, she was put in a different position in the middle of the season, and she did the best job she could do. She literally killed it. Kind of sucks for one of the players here was the least voted for, Freeman. Kind of sucks for Freeman. She had a tough season, especially with those own goals out there.
Yeah, if it weren't for those own goals, this would have been a decent season for her, but just unfortunate. Absolutely unfortunate. But, going back to what I said on the first one, consistency is going to be the word that's going to pop up a lot. Krieger was consistently good. When you have a season like this, that's what again was going to win out. Krieger had 102 total clearances and 26 interceptions. She was 81% passing out of the back, which is awesome. Estelle and Mandy had about 70 clearances each, so 102 is a lot. So I use the term anchor to define her play this season. She just, wherever she is, she just understands the assignment. Doesn't matter if it's center back, doesn't matter if it's defensive mid. Again, blame me for Krieger in the six. I just knew she could do it. Go to the discussion question. So if Long is back at defensive mid, Ruby, what is your center back pairing if all the players return?
Well, now you're making it difficult because you're, first of all, you're here saying that Johnson and Freeman might leave, but I still want to see Johnson as a center back. I don't know why. I want to see her there. She's just so good. But there's so many things up in the air now with trades coming up, with draft coming up. So we have to talk more about that in the next episode. But what is your view or take on this?
So I chose this question because it was really tough because I didn't have
I
an answer
know,
for it.
like, hello, put me on the spot here, okay? Thank you. Go ahead. Now's your turn.
I think Johnson and Krieger are the best pair out of all of them. If you're looking for passing out of the bag, it's going to be Krieger and Freeman. But I believe Johnson's aerial ability and ability to last ditch defend, and Krieger with her ability to pass and get stuck in, I like that pairing best. But again, it all depends on what the new coach wants to do. Let's move over to midfielder of the season. So I can't remember who won this last season. Midfield.
Must long.
Am I kidding? Yeah. What am I kidding? Ali Long was probably 98% or something. She had a crazy season last season. But for mid of the season, it was Mewis at 68%, and then everyone else had about 10%. And then at the end of the season, Mewis again 66%, and everyone else about 10%. I'll just go first. I would describe Mewis's performance as quietly good. Gotham's inability to score goals really limited her effectiveness. However, at the end of the day, top-rated player on FOTMob by 0.1% over Zerboni. So she created 36 chances, by far the most. If Gotham could finish, Christie might be a runaway MVP. I am most excited going into 2023 to see what Christie can do with Long back on the field. Long is going to make everyone's job so much easier.
Yeah, I have to definitely agree with you, Gary. Your comment of Mew as being quietly good, it's right on the dot there. It's like right on point. There were some inconsistencies when Mew has played, like she played some games and she was so good, and then other games she was not that good. So it kind of like balanced it out. And I'm still hanging here from the last game and the overall performance of all the players. This is what they're capable of, but it sucks that they had to do it on the last game. But I'm so glad that, we could see their potential and what they're capable of. So just like you, I cannot wait until 2023, see Christy, see Long back. It's just gonna be so different.
Absolutely. So the discussion question, if we keep all the pieces, who is your defensive mid, and attacking midfielder in the 4-2-3-1 next season?
So I have right here, if the defensive mid, I would like to see Long, and I want to keep Krieger there. I want to
Okay.
keep her there, and then as an attacking mid, I would like to see Mewis. I don't know, like Mewis. Who else can I put there? There's so many.
Right. This
Pickett.
is what we're talking. It's crazy,
I
right?
know. There's so many combinations that you can do. So it's so hard. Pickett is good. Mewis is good. We still have Kawasumi in there. Um, I don't know. So you come up with the hardest questions ever. Now
I
it's your
know.
turn.
I didn't consider Krieger in that mix. I bet the Krieger fans are mad at me for not putting her for midfielder of the season. But sorry, Krieger fans. All right. I have obviously Long at the base. And then I have a Pick'em in the 6-8 spot where, I could go with Pickett. I could go with Zerboni. And then I want
Mm-hmm.
Mewis, obviously, as the creator, the playmaker. So I
Mm-hmm.
in Long, Pick'em, Mewis. That's my three.
So where do you see Bernina for next year?
You know what? I've always seen her in all the other things as a right back, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, but she was as a left back in this game, and she looked really good. I thought she was going to compete with Jean for spot next season, but she's
Mm-hmm.
going to be behind Dorsey. She's not going to take Dorsey's spot. Dorsey is too good, so I assume she's going to be playing on the right side, fighting with Jean for that spot.
Fair. Seems fair.
All right, let's move over to Tacker of the Season. Tacker of the Season, Monahan won this category. So she won at 42% over Smith at 34.1%. Purse and Anamanu in the middle at 14.7 and 9.1. This one is interesting, but I think it's ultimately Paige. Consistency, again, counts. All the others had either stop and start seasons or a smaller body of work. If luck was on our side this season, Paige would have probably ran away with it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Paige was the most consistent. But I also want to give props to Smith out there. She came to Gotham and she was like a breath of fresh air. She's another player that has been really flexible, playing wherever position they just throw her in, and she just takes it. And that you have to have a lot of talent to be able to get out there and get the work done, no matter what position you're playing in. I am a Taylor Smith fan, so I just want to put it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they better re-sign her for next season because she is Gotham through and through, according to me. The discussion question, since we're on Taylor, is Taylor a forward or defender going into next season for you?
I think they're gonna put her in defense, especially after that connection that and chemistry she had with Purse. I think they're really good playing with each other out there. So I think we're gonna see her in that defense position.
Wow,
Unless
that's
unless
yeah,
Iffy leaves. I don't know. Hope she doesn't. But if he's still around, I think she'll still be in defense. Smith will be in defense.
yeah, that's a logjam of players on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Taylor in the mix with Jean, with Berninia, with Dorsey. That's a lot of good players for only 2 spots. That's going to be really, really tough. And it'll be interesting to see with the new coach. I guess it depends on the new coach's system they want to run, but I would rather see Taylor as a striker. Just my own thoughts. But if it happens to be a full right side of Smith and Purse again, I'm cool with that as well. Let's just get over to our last award, which is the MVP. Mid-season, Krieger won at 42.1%. Mewis was slightly behind at 36.1%. This time, Krieger is 63% and Mewis is 22.8%. Everyone else isn't also ran. What do you think, Ruby?
Yeah, no one can deny that Krieger is an incredible player. And we are so lucky to have her at Gotham FC. We have so many great players, and it's just so hard to choose one, But I think Ali Krieger, it's good that her leadership out there in the field, again, like we've been saying throughout this podcast, consistency. She's been really consistent. She's getting the work done. She hustles. I feel like she's 100% in there. Next, well, I think Sorbonne's free agent, so she could probably leave Gotham, right?
She has an option year, so it's up to the team to exercise her option or not. She could talk them out of it, but right now it's up to the team to decide whether she is going to stay on as another year.
Okay. Well, if they decide not to keep Sorbonne, I think Ali Krieger would make a great captain.
You would not get an argument from me there. So I do think it's Krieger, but I don't know if it's, maybe it is such a wide margin. I don't know. I remember saying in the midseason awards that at the end of the season, I hoped that it wouldn't be Ali, not because I think anything less of Ali as in her contributions. I just was hoping for one of our attackers to just go on a complete run. But at the end of the season, consistency, leadership, and of course, the willingness to play a position she hasn't played. She understood the assignment. As I said earlier, she's one of my favorite players to watch. I just feel like if you're on the field with Ali, you could just shut the lights off and know that if I play the ball here, Ali will be there because that's where she's supposed to be. She's been awesome. I can't wait to see her again next season. Let's go, Krieger. Well done. Let's do one random thought. Essentially, I think that these polls don't reflect the entire roster. So let's just pick a player that we think is like an unsung hero or just somebody who's not on, who didn't win one of these polls, and just say a quick word on them. I just want to say that it's been an honor and a privilege to watch Kawasumi come to work every day, day after day. One of the smallest players on the pitch, but she plays with such intelligence. She sees the whole field and nearly makes the right decision every single time. Hugh, Scott, Freya all called her a proper pro. She is a model teammate and frankly one of the best to ever do it. We'll get this on the next podcast, but Naho is signed until the end of 2023, so hopefully we get to watch her play out the rest of her career here in Gotham. What a legend.
Yes, she's such a great player. I'm also glad that we get to see her for one more year with Gotham FC. And like you said, she's a small player. She's not a physical player, and I cannot blame her. She's probably like 5'2". You cannot do much when you're that height, that small, and going against someone who's 5'7" or 5'10". So she has to be smart with the way she plays, and totally understand because I'm that short. So I think I will have to play smarter, not physically. The NWSL, it's a very physical league, so must be hard for her trying to avoid being physical and also getting hurt. And yes, such an honor to see her. And like you said, she's been an unsung hero this season.
Yeah, shout out to all our short players. And, as someone who's 5'6" on a tall day, growing up, I always had my brother who was 3 years older than me, and he's like a foot taller than I am. Whenever we played, I couldn't out muscle him. I couldn't do things, so I had to be smarter than him, as you just said. It's just something we short people have to do. We just have to be smarter than everybody else. So, yeah, awesome, Kawasumi. You're the best. That is our postseason award show. Thanks to everyone who votes. You make this show what it is. This show is designed to connect the fans far and near to this team. We are one big Soccer Over Gotham family. All of us are on a collective mission to grow this sport that we love. I just have one ask. Please rate and review us wherever you can, iTunes or Spotify. It means a lot to us, and it helps us move up the algorithm and stuff like that. So for Ruby and myself, thanks for listening to episode 59 of Soccer Over Gotham. Next time we record, again, we're going to go over the contract statuses and give our offseason wish list. So you ready for this offseason, Ruby?
I am ready, and we're going to keep getting better for everyone. So keep listening, keep following us. We tried something new this season, which was the live stream of the post game conferences. We're just gonna keep working on things through the off season. Hopefully, we can get some players out here for interviews on the off season. Might be hard because they probably want to relax, but we're gonna try our best. And like you said, this show is created for the fans to connect with the players and get you close as get to know them in a different level. So hopefully we get to do that and keep doing that for all of you, and listen to all of our podcasts with we have such great interviews out there. Our last one was really good with Ellie Jean, and again, just thank you for sticking with us.
I do want to just quickly note on that interview, just a little behind the scenes. So I was producing that interview, and it got to minute 15, and I was really like, okay, this is going to go too long. And I was going to message you guys in the chat, just keep going, because this was amazing.
Yeah.
And I just sat back, and the whole time I'm just amazed. And this is exactly why we do this. And those are the stories that I want to tell. And Ellie was amazing. And I can't wait to do more stories like that. And it's made me so happy. And the whole time I'm just cheering you guys on. And my mute on mic, I'm so happy. It was awesome.
And that interview, went for a long time. It did go for a long time. I was looking at the clock because we usually try to keep it 15-20 minutes because we want, like I said on the show, I was like, I want to respect your time. I don't want to keep you here too long. And I think I said that, and we kept talking for another 20 minutes. So I was like, it's good. These are the things that, that get me going, keep doing the podcast, stories like these. I just want the players to be heard and tell their stories out there because they don't get the chance, Sometimes they don't get the chance, especially because of the coverage of women's soccer. It's not broad. You don't have ESPN or Fox Sports or Fox Soccer out here asking them to do an interview. So you don't get to see much of them. So that's why we do this for the fans and also for the players to tell their story. Such an amazing story. And I didn't want to stop her. It just felt so good talking to her. And I think we could have kept talking for maybe another hour. I kind of had to stop. I was like, all right, let me let her, give her a break or maybe bring her back and keep talking. But it was an amazing interview. I loved it. And I just love doing this.
Yeah, just to be able to tell that story was just awesome. And yeah, it was great. And I usually do a lot more editing on the interviews, but I didn't really touch that one at all because I was like, this has got to breathe. It's just got to, it was awesome. So again, I thank Ellie for coming on. She's incredible. And we'll get to this in another episode on our off-season episodes, but the best interviews that we've done are the players who are kind of the least heralded players. Baxter was amazing.
Oh my God. Yeah, we got to get her back.
Yeah. Those are the stories that, again, I want to tell because they don't get the chance to tell their stories much. And you can tell that Ellie was really invested in telling her story. And she was so happy that she finally got to be able to tell both sides of her being.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And also, I just want to put out there, if any players or anyone's listening to this, I just want to make sure that everyone knows this is also a safe place to share your story. We're not going to silence you. We're not going to tell you not to say something. If you want to say it, just say it, and we'll support you 100%, and we'll just put it out there.
Agreed. We're here for the fans. We're here for the players. We're here to tell stories. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. We will see you next week.